Oh. Hey, buddy. Better move out of the way. Yeah, move. Move. Good boy. Good morning, everybody. It's a nice cold January 17th morning. Started out at -15 this morning, so we got quite a bit of catching up to do to get back to zero and feel a little less cold. I'm not gonna say warm because zero is not warm. But today, I was gonna drop my plow, but we got a little bit of snow coming tomorrow, it looks like, so we'll leave it on just in case. Shed's pretty packed full. 44 is the only thing missing. That's in the shop. I started working on that yesterday, which surprisingly, the only thing it needs is nothing, because I did the oil change yesterday. I changed the fuel filters, changed the hydraulic filter. We have Wapsi Grove conversions coming for the hydraulic outlets. We ordered those this morning, so we'll probably pull that out. I don't know. We'll see what our projects look like. We may pull it out and wait for those to come back before we bring it back in. But today's mission is we're gonna walk around and get parts order figured out for our tillage equipment. Might not be using the tillage equipment, but we need to have it ready to go. So we'll look at the disc. I think the chisel plow needs points, so I gotta go and figure out what'd you do. I gotta figure out exactly how many lefts and rights I need for the chisel plow, and then the rolling harrow has needed baskets for a long time, but I think those are pretty pricey. I don't know, I might price those just for what's up, but if we're not planning on using it, probably won't put baskets on it. And then I think that's it. So we'll figure out quantities and get all that figured out. And then I have filters for the rest of the tractors. We could bring the 4020 in right now without moving the 44 and go through that and get that tuned up. We may do that. I also want to get the all the meters taken off of the corn planter and have them ready to go in, and because we want to get those in right away. One, because he's not busy running calibrations on them yet. Two, we want to go in and build a liquid fertilizer system for our planter, a new pump, and we plan on putting totally tubulars on and getting just all that plumbed in so that we can run 28 through the planter. And then we're trying to figure out how we can build Y drops for an affordable price for the sprayer. We've been leaving that heater on overnight for the last couple nights, and as you can tell just by looking around, the shop is not that well insulated or sealed in any way, shape, or form, but it is keeping it right around, it's not even on the thermometer, it's probably 40 in here, I think, but it is pulling about 3% of propane out of the tank every 24-36 hours. So once the temperature warms up outside, that does start to kick on and off and actually keep it at temperature. But for now, it's just kind of taking the bite off, and it's definitely making the skid steer start a lot easier. So that's why that's in here. Also have all the snowmobiles in here. Haven't done any riding yet because of the temp, but they're here, almost ready. This one's got to get put back together. This one I think is ready to go. The middle one won't start, working on that. And the far one's already been running, and that is ready to go. Anyway, yeah, so the filters and fluid have all been changed on this tractor. I have to get that side screen put back on. It fell off when we were using it last, and when it warms up, definitely got to power wash that oil cooler out and the radiator and all that sort. But made another haul to Harbor Freight yesterday. These are Dad's screwdrivers. This screwdriver set was on sale for $5.97, so that's what Dad picked up. That's his stuff. I'll put that over here. But anyway, I got a 1/2-inch drive torque wrench for like 20 bucks. I got this because I didn't think I was gonna need it. Originally, I bought the glove holder and the paper towel holder, and I thought that would be enough, but now all of a sudden I have cans sitting on my bench, and so I did buy that. That was like $15. I bought these hangers, and I'll show you what these are for in a second. They were like 10 bucks. Bought a 1/2 inch deep SAE 1/2 inch drive impact socket set. That was $28.99, I think. And then I bought SAE deep sockets, 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch. Because when I bought my kits, you buy a kit, it comes with a ratchet and sockets. Well, I never noticed that it didn't come with deep sockets, so I've been making do with just shallows and borrowing Dad's as needed. So now I got the deeps to go along with it. I don't use metric sockets a whole lot anyway, and if I do, it's for like little screws and stuff, so I didn't bother buying the metric deeps. So, and I got more than just that stuff. I got a ratcheting screwdriver. This is a Doyle brand, and it was 15 bucks. So it comes with everything as far as bits go. I'll try and show you guys. So you take the first section, it pulls out, and you got a bit on each side. Each bit pulls out, and you got a smaller version of the bit. So you pop that back in and then pull the whole thing out. You got the same deal on the other end. You got torques and square and bigger and smaller of each one. And then pop it back in. And ratcheting. Very nice. I also got a pipe wrench because I don't have one, and actually the farm doesn't have one at this point in time. I bought another pair of these Quinn. They're called shop shears, but I'll just call them scissors. They're $6.99 and worth every penny. I have one pair in my box already. This pair is going in the toolbox in my truck because I'm always stealing them out of my box. Got a smaller hammer, like $4.99 I think. I also got Torx bits, 3/8, 1/4 inch. Nice big rechargeable light. I wanted this one. It has a lot better run time than the lights we currently have in here, so I got that. That was 20 bucks for the rechargeable. You could get a regular one that just takes AA batteries for $6.99, but it didn't have much more than a 20-hour runtime, and you can easily sit in the shop with this on all day long, so that would be like 2 days and I'd be changing the batteries out on that $6.99 one. So I decided to go for this one. That way I can just plug it in when I leave at night, and I know it'll last me the whole next day. And then I got this light, $11.99. It's gonna go on above the man door here on the shop, just a little more light at night, solar powered and everything, so I don't have to wire it. Nice little $200 haul. Will keep me going for another couple months, and then I'm sure I'll have to go back. But really nice thing, nowadays all the Pittsburgh tools have a lifetime warranty, and you don't need the receipt to bring it back, especially because we have an account there. So all I gotta do is bring the individual tool, or they said the kit, and they will swap it out and give me a whole nother kit or just the individual tool. These hangers are gonna hang here where the drill press is now and the grinding bench. Gonna hang like right here. I'll have to retrofit something up, but it's gonna hold all our good new steel, which is currently just this piece at the moment, but it could be more once I sort stuff out. Anyway, you guys don't want to hear me babbling. Let's hop in the truck, drive around, look at some equipment. We'll start with the chisel plow because that's the first thing that's gonna be going in the shop. I start usually in order of what machines get used, so realistically the next thing that goes in, I start with all tractors because tractors are usually where the major repairs get done, and then I will move on to the manure spreader because that is the very first thing that gets used, and then the chisel plow, and then the disc, and then the crumbler. Usually I'll throw the planter in somewhere in the middle because the planter usually gets pulled in the shop 2 or 3 times because you got to pull it in, order parts, and then you pull it out, wait for the parts to come, put it back in, replace all those parts, and you usually find more parts that you got to order, and so on and so forth. But that is future to come, and for the most part the planter's ready to go. I just got to check the disc openers, which Dad is talking about. I'm maybe replacing all of them right now anyway, just because of the plan of going all mostly no-till next year. It'll be nice and efficient to have good sharp blades on for openers. We may order those just no matter what. After that, we're swapping the Keatons out for rebounders. Those are the seed firmers. And then that fertilizer system will be the big thing. And I also have some bushings. I think they're bushings, but I think there's a bearing update kit for those closing wheel brackets. And some of those have some slop that I gotta replace the bearings or bushings in. And then the corn planter should be ready to go. We might splurge for some seed box extensions just for soybeans, but for some reason you can't find 3 bushel boxes for that planter anymore. 2 years ago there was no problems finding them, and now they're just nowhere to be found, so everybody quit manufacturing them. So you can go to you can get a 1 bushel extension, so it turns your 1.6 bushel hoppers into a 2.6, and that's about as close to 3 as you can get. That would add quite a bit to our planter as far as soybean planting goes, so that might be something we look at. Here's the chisel plow. I know the disc blades are shot, but this chisel plow costs about $1,000 to $1,200 to put disc blades across the whole front of this. And this chisel plow, I think we paid like $300 or $400 for. So if worse comes to worse, we'll just keep doing bearings, but they're there and they're doing enough of a job for now. And these are definitely shot. We used this very little last year, and we might not use it at all this year, but we're gonna have points on it so that if we need it, it's ready to go. Looks like we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rights and 2 lefts. So that's what it, those 2 throw right, those 2 throw left, and the whole back throws right. So easy to remember. 7 and 2. And I guess it doesn't really matter which ones we buy, 7 rights or 7 lefts. And then this needs a hydraulic cylinder, this offset disc, which we'll probably get going because we do have to fit some hay ground up for new seeding this year. And this is the best tool we have for it. Believe it or not, that I think it's a 336 John Deere disc. Does a terrible job for fitting. It leaves a really, really rough seed bed. So looking for something else to fit hay ground with for this summer. Here's the disc. Look at the cleaners real quick. That whole row looked good. Looks like there's one missing there. I don't know how to tell the direction on these. I'm guessing it's the direction the arm comes down. So right, maybe? Maybe. Need 2 rights, there's a bent one. Looks like the rest of those are good. This is our 12-row cultivator that we never used because we didn't have a tractor that could pick it up, that could still go down in between the rows. We've talked about turning it into a strip till bar, but the units are expensive for that as well. Maybe eventually, but check those. Do we need one, or is that one just loose? Looks like that one's just loose. So good. That one is just loose as well. All my new stuff is put away. I gotta put those in my truck. And then I got my new holder up. Swap out this can for a can of Gibbs or penetrating oil. And I got my common screwdrivers up here so I can just grab them at the quick snap of a, I don't know, snap of a something. Step outside real quick. Check on the dog. He's there. I got the light mounted. This is solar, and then I believe it'll kick on like a Mercury light when it gets dark, and I believe it kicks on dim, and then if somebody walks by it, it goes bright. So I believe that's how that works. And with the parts or the tools being put away and our parts investigation run, we are going to start taking the units, the meters off the corn planter. I plugged the 4020 in so that it'll hopefully start this afternoon. That has something wrong with the starter. It seems to be defective because the starter's brand new. So we'll get that pulled in and replaced or taken off and taken up and tested. What we're going to do is we're going to turn this tractor nose this direction with the back end towards as close to that wall as possible and as close to this wall as possible. And then hopefully that should give us enough room to bring the 4020 in and keep the skid steer in here. Anyway, out to the part storage. You guys have been out here in a while. Parts pile's grown a little bit. And this stuff that was outside, or this stuff that was in the shop is out here now, which I believe I showed you guys that already. But we're looking at the planter. I have a depth gauge wheel that fell off in my last field, so I got an easy way to measure the disc openers. I believe they have to be, I think 14 1/4 is considered worn out for diameter. I think they come 15 inches brand new. So we'll measure that up, take a look. Those totally tubulars that we're looking at are two jets that sit like back here. One shoots on one side, one shoots on the other, about 2 inches away from the seed trench. They recommend drag chains, but you guys know how I feel about drag chains. I really hate them. This is my first year that I got to run without them, and I was very happy. So we're going to take all these seed boxes off. The meters are attached to the bottom, taking these front boxes off. And then we run them inside. I believe it's just a 7/16 nut, 2 of them on each meter. And then the meters pull right off and we can take them in. They spin them at the simulated ground speed of what we run, which we say 5 miles an hour, but it's realistically more like 3. And then if there's any singulation problems with each one, they will take them apart, address where the problem's at, replace the parts needed. And then when everything's done, they send it back to us with a hefty bill, and then it's all good. The other thing that's got to be done is these bushings. On every wheel, there's a bushing in here. They are all getting really bad, and a couple of them on the drive wheels somehow are making it where my seed running is slipping. It's not common, but it either plants or it doesn't for a long period of time. And I had to back up and kind of like reset it, put it up and take it down again. But this is a pretty serious problem that we're going to address. And it's going to be difficult to address, honestly. I think we got to take this rod out, loosen these bolts up, slide these together, and then you'll be able to come in from behind and pop them out. So it's going to be one wheel at a time for sure. We will probably, it's cold out here, probably lift it all the way up, block the lock on one or all of them except one, and then lower the planter down. It'll lift that wheel off the ground and then make it all easier to do like that. So that'll be done in the shop when it's warmer. And these meters are set for corn right now. That's the last thing planted. And we are only spinning the corn meters this year. Last year we did the bean and corn meters. I think we decided every 2 or 3 years we'll send both discs down and get it spun both ways. But for the most part, corn is where all the mechanical parts in the meter come into play. Beans, it's really just the disc and the brush. There's not a whole lot that can go wrong, so that's why we'll only spin those every once in a long while. Got all the meters boxed up, and all the boxes are stacked here in the corner so that when we get the meters back they can go right on. And if we end up ordering those extensions, they're in the shop so that we can just put them on
without having to go out and get them out of the barn again. So that is that project done. I'll call the guy we take them to, see how long it is going to be before he wants them, and then I'm thinking probably early next week, but we'll see. I'm going to hang those hangers up now, probably space them 3.5 feet apart so that I can hang anything between 4 and 6 feet up on that wall with those hangers. So I'm probably going to have to run and grab some 2x4 material to go up and down. I'll screw them to that and then stick them up and screw them on there, since the holes are wider than the wood there. So alright, well, this is the definition of being sidetracked, but somehow still being on the same project is what I wanted the day to be on. So we are pulling the starter on the 4020, sitting in the barn over here, instead of putting those hangers up. I tried starting it and it just clicked, even jumping it off the starter, and put the battery charger on it on jump start, and it's well above 13 volts and still just ticking away. So we will pull the starter off, take it uptown to where we bought it, see if they can test it or see something. There's obviously something wrong with the solenoid, and then we'll see what they can do about it. This thing right here, I'm gonna pull it off here in the frigid temperatures, and then hopefully I can have one to put on this afternoon. I have a starter coming for the 4020. It's gonna be here in a week. So I just got done going through the planner and the drill and writing down all the parts we need for both. We had a lot of the drill parts on the shelf, which is good. The drill is, it seems like the drill is the most expensive thing to maintain every year. And so the planner, we got a few things we got to deal with on that. I have one depth gauge wheel that got bent somehow. And then all the bushings and all the depth gauge wheel arms got to be done. I'm calling it the arms, it's the bracket. All the top parallel arms got a lot of slop in them, so we're going to replace them. Oh, those are the gauge wheel arm bushings, got to be replaced. I got a few closing wheels going out, which is nothing unusual. And 16 those wheel bracket bushings that I was talking about, and my talc and graphite that I need for next year. And then the drill, mostly closing wheels, few press wheels got to be done, and a few gauge wheels and a lot of gauge wheel arms. That's the main gist of it. And then we're also replacing all the roller chains on it, and there's this bad seed tube. So I'm gonna go start the 4960, let it warm up, and then we'll move this out with the skid steer, and I'll back the 4960 in here, and we'll go ahead and change the oil and the filters on that. And then I think I'll be going home, because it's 3:30, so by the time I do that, it'll be getting late. And now, after I got the two snowmobiles out, went to town, got new battery terminals for the 44 because I broke one, putting all that back together. I have the things hung up, and I got the first piece of steel on it. Voila. Looks good. So now you might say, well, you were supposed to bring the 4960 in and service that tonight. Well, in the process of doing that, I really found out that the battery was dead. And then looking, the 4020's parked off to the side in the barn, but looking at it, and then I paced it off, and the 4960 can't come out of the barn until the 4020 does. So the 4020 and the 4960 can't come out until next Wednesday, because that's when the starter comes for the 4020. Yeah, so chances are by then we'll have the hydraulic outlets for this. I'll get that rebuilt. Dad needs to bring his snowplow, or his truck and plow in, and replace the pump, so he can do that tomorrow, probably pull this out. And yeah, there's plenty of other things to do. I gotta put this snowmobile back together. We're just going to, the oil injection pump is bad, so we've been just mixing the fuel, and I acquired a pump to fix it right here, but I got taking it apart and figured out you need a specialty tool to pull this clutch assembly off,
and we don't have that, and it costs too much, and we don't know anybody with one. So we are just putting it back together for now. Eventually I'll probably acquire that tool, but it's just not gonna work out for now. So the motor was locked up when we pulled it out of the barn. We got it unlocked. We dumped seafoam in each cylinder, and it unlocked overnight. Just gotta put this belt on, put the air box back in, put this side panel back on, and I think it'll be done and ready to go. We might be snow plowing tomorrow. There's a little bit of snow in the forecast, and I gotta go home because my editing computer, I finally got the motherboard for it, and somehow it ended up out in the yard in the deep snow, and the box got all tore off of it. I don't know if our dog got into it or what, but I gotta see if it's usable. If not, I gotta return it and get another one coming. And if it is, I gotta get it in, because I think I have 3 or 4 videos on this camera right now that need to be edited and uploaded. So plenty to do, and well, I guess I got plenty of time to get there. So we got a good chunk of stuff done today. We got the foundation laid for all the spring mechanic work that's got to be done, and that is a big step. For the most part, everything is going to be easy, small, smooth sailing. If we want to, we can dig into the 4-wheel drives when we have time, and then that is it. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for following me along today as I get some just odds and ends done, and have a good day. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.